Well, the latest is this tweet by Donald Trump himself, this time directing his threats at Turkey, saying, "If Turkey does anything that I, in my great and unmatched wisdom, consider to be off limits, I will totally destroy and obliterate the economy of Turkey." He did not specify, of course, what those off-limits actions would be, but this was a direct message to Turkey. This comes as we don't have much information as to what was said during that phone call with the Turkish President Erdogan and what transpired in that phone call, which led to that decision of Donald Trump to call for those U.S. troops to start withdrawing from northern Syria. But this latest tweet it looks a lot like an answer to all the criticism that has been coming out of the Republicans, of some of his most staunchest allies and supporters who have heavily criticized Donald Trump for that decision, including Lindsey Graham, who has said that he would call for a bipartisan Senate resolution to oppose the decision to withdraw if that withdrawal is confirmed. He also said that Donald Trump's claim that that ISIS had been defeated was, quote, the biggest lie being told by this administration. So Donald Trump's tweet looks like a way of saying that Turkey does not have an open blank checkbook to go out and invade northern Syria. This after, as we've heard, the Europeans have been calling for restraint and warning that this could lead to further destabilize the region.
As we're speaking, Ketevan, we're getting remarks from the U.S. Defense Department saying that the Pentagon does not endorse a Turkish operation in northern Syria and that the pullback concerns a very small number of troops on the Turkish border. That's according to the Pentagon. You get the sense that Donald Trump will have Republican lawmakers against him and perhaps a good part of the defense establishment.
Yes, because the Defense Department has been against such a pullback for a while. So has the State Department. So Donald Trump is really going against what his diplomacy and his defense officials have been saying for a while now. Remember what happened last winter when there was already such a threat, and then Donald Trump pulled back on his decision to start withdrawing from northern Syria. So the State Department and the Department of Defense have been against what everyone sees really as a sign that the U.S. is abandoning its allies in the region. And there has been just last month, there was already a bipartisan congressional report saying that ISIS was still strong, that the U.S. had to stay there, and that the U.S. should not pull out of this region. So really the president seems to be widely alone in his decision and in his assessment of the situation on the ground, going against top Republican officials, top defense officials, and top State Department officials.
Yeah, a phone call with a foreign leader that leads to a big storm. Is this, it of course sounds familiar with what the impeachment proceedings that started with that phone call with Ukraine. Is this story with the Recep Tayyip Erdogan now invited to the White House, is it turning the attention away from the impeachment proceedings where you are?
Well, I can't say that it has overshadowed the impeachment proceedings, because the impeachment inquiry is still very much the news that everyone is following here. But this question and this new possible controversy regarding Recep Tayyip Erdogan and that pullout in northern Syria is starting to gain some traction, especially with the fact that it seems that Donald Trump Trump is going against the rest of the Republican, and that is really what has people focused on here, is how much the Republicans are not supporting their president on this matter. And of course, as you said, this phone call and the fact that it's looking very familiar, there will be questions as to what happened in that phone call between the two presidents. Was there something there? Will there be any information coming out of that phone call? What Donald Trump requested, what he said he would give to the president of Turkey, and possibly that meeting between the two presidents. Was there a dealing there? Those are all questions that are being asked, but still, so far, the impeachment inquiry is the number one news here in Washington.